Hello, mortgage fans. Hopefully everyone's refreshed after the Easter break, where one day you were sunbathing and the next it was snowing. So you got to love the British weather. So in the last week, quite a lot going on. If anyone watched the government briefing yesterday, that was good news that everything's all going to plan. And the economy's going to open up as per schedule. One thing you've seen from today, I'm actually in the office, which is quite nice, preparing it for everyone to come back. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that yet, but I'm sure it'll be very socially distanced and very responsible. But it'll be very, very nice to have the guys back and actually see their lovely little faces. But more specifically in the mortgage world, so we're now into April. Which will see the mortgage guarantee scheme kick in. I've written and talked about this quite a lot, so I'm not going to do this extensively now, but this is effectively where the government are guaranteeing mortgages where there's just a 5% deposit in place. I'll put a link to a blog I've done in a lot more detail, but the main thing that I wanted to focus on is sort of what happened last time. Last time we saw this scheme, it started at the end of 2013, ran for about 4 years, and we saw house prices go up by 30.43% in that time. And there were the figures from Nationwide. So really just sort of comparing apples with apples. I've looked at what Nationwide believe house prices have done to this point, and we can sort of compare as we go forward. But if you look at just where we are, so let's say for Q1, the figures are sort of quite strong. If I get the numbers here, I think London was the worst performing region at 4.8% growth, with the Northeast being the highest at 8.2%. Monthly rise is still quite high. Again, still from Nationwide, they believe that house prices were up 5.7% in March. That's slightly down from 6.9% in February, but you can see really, really healthy gains anyway. So really, really interesting to see how it's going to play out. As I mentioned there, so England as a whole is actually the worst performing of the home nations, and London is the worst performing region. So it'd be really interesting to see how this mortgage guarantee scheme come in, because that will really benefit the southeast, where property prices are predominantly higher. So will there be a bit more bounce back in the southeast and London? I suspect there probably will be. On the theme of sort of bouncing back, GDP figures were revised upwards for Q4 last year. So that means the economy actually grew by 1.3% as opposed to the 0.3% that was predicted at the time. And the final figures for 2020 would normally make for scary reading, because the economy contracted by 9.8%, which would be just absolutely disastrous in any other context. But it's actually not as bad as we predicted, because there was actually a 20% quarterly fall at one point. So it's actually recovering very well. Things are all sort of bouncing back. That's sort of what we're seeing as the economy opens up. House prices are up, GDP's up. Even if you look at the money market rates, they're starting to move up now as well. Again, nothing dramatic, but it's all sort of steady movements, all in the one direction, which is upwards at the minute. So what that means specifically for mortgages then, we are starting to see the cost of mortgages increase. So it'd be interesting how long banks take before they start increasing the products that are on offer. A market leading rate today is 1.05%. That's if you do have a very straightforward situation and a large deposit. The exact rate you'll be offered will be dependent upon your personal situation and deposit on offer. But if you want to look at that in a bit more detail, then by all means do talk to the team. Last thing for me to cover off is we soon will have a new large loan section to the website. For the moment, we've done the video, which we'll release on social media this week. We can have a look at that. But again, very, very sort of specific areas to look at with very sort of different needs. So we're just sort of putting a bit more sort of content around that, really. So anyone looking to borrow £1 million plus, really useful viewing for you, and I'll let you know when the website's updated as well. But that's it for now for the mortgage news. So hope to catch up with you soon.